this to me. Joe, I feel like, is more talented. More talented as a rapper, more talented as a podcaster. Gillie, way cooler as a rapper, way cooler as a podcaster. It's if you're rolling down the street, slapping, like if Rick, you and your Impala, I know you slap old school anyway. You're not gonna be slapping no rap music, really. But if you were, it would be embarrassing to be slapping some Joe Budden in your
Impala, yeah.
Really, I mean, like, it doesn't seem cool hitting the block slapping Joe Budden, period. I like his music, but it's more like for when I'm by myself or I'm with other rap nerds and we're like dissecting some bars. Like, Gillie actually has some dope records just to slap. You know what I mean? Like, he got that Philly street shit, you know, from that era. But and I just feel like he's a much cooler person.
But who's had more important conversations in the space?
Joe.
Even with Gillie and Wallow talking with Young Thug, talking about a lot of artists before they passed away, having interviews like literally months to weeks right before they passed, giving them the game that they needed to hear.
No, you know what? That's a very good point.
So that's why I'm like, oh, let's talk about But on the end of
Joe hasn't had those conversations. But what Joe has had, well, also, I mean, you know, Joe has, if you take it back to Everyday Struggle, he was in a lot of those conversations.
Yes. And the platform that you just came from, a lot of what Joe Budden has accomplished is in the cloth of No Jumper. From the introduction of topics, from the way things are happening, from the way the conversation is happening on No Jumper. If you look at Adam 22, and even Adam 20, shout out to Adam. I don't even want to bring it up, but you can see how much of an influence Joe Budden has. So you can't say the same for $1 million worth of game and the way that they podcast. I can't say that about so-and-so. I can't say that about different platforms. But when you talk about Joe Budden, I can say that his platform is a part of this platform, is a part of this platform. You can see it. There's actual stats there, but in terms of the influence that $1 million worth of game has, obviously it literally is $1 million worth of game, but can you see it in other people's podcasts?
I feel like they both serve very different niches in the game. You know what I mean? $1 million worth of game and Drink Champs are dependent on guests. Not dependent on guests. I mean, Drink Champs is absolutely dependent on guests. Joe's podcast is not about guests.
Great point.
It never really has been. You know what I mean?
Great point.
So it's like a completely different thing. What I will say is this. Again, so as far as them beefing, did Joe take the shot? Joe said something that...
Joe said, basically, I think it stems from Joe's #1 rant.
Right.
Which was warranted. Granted, he's #1, literally.
But then when Charlemagne was on $1 million worth of game, they were clapping back and making the things. And like, shouts to EUC Vibes, $5. Big Lush, thanks for everything you've done pushing the battle scene forward. W, hope to collab with you one day when I get my talent up. Much love. And I saw a $20 dono from Francis once again.
Salute.
Baby girl.
Man, shout out.
Shouts to Jamaica. You already know the energy.
We appreciate the support.
Make me feel like I'm doing something with my life.